Mixed martial artists across Australia are paying their tributes to former UFC fighter and coach Suman Mokhtarian, who was tragically shot dead in what police say was a targeted attack. The 33-year-old was killed in Riverstone, in Sydney's northwest, around 6 p.m. on Wednesday, October 8. As he strolled along Annaluke Street, a red Audi sedan suddenly accelerated towards him and its occupants launched an ambush that broke the quiet of the neighborhood. In a burst of gunfire lasting just 8 seconds, the gunman unleashed approximately 14 rounds from a semi-automatic pistol, riddling their victim's upper torso and chest with multiple fatal wounds. Police were called to the shooting immediately. At the same time, around 6:15 p.m., emergency crews were also called to a nearby street where a car was found engulfed in flames. Authorities suspect the vehicle was used in the attack and then set on fire to destroy evidence, a tactic commonly seen in underworld crimes. Detectives have launched a full-scale investigation, reviewing security cameras and interviewing witnesses to piece together exactly what happened. The shooting adds to a growing list of public daylight attacks in Sydney, heightening concerns about the ongoing gang violence gripping the city. Following the shooting, reports confirmed that approximately 14 rounds were fired in quick succession, and a red Audi sped off from the scene. The 33-year-old former UFC fighter Suman Mokhtarian lay motionless on the street, struck multiple times in the chest. A neighbor rushed over to check on him, desperately trying to help, but it was clear he had suffered fatal wounds. Blood pooled around him, and despite immediate efforts, he had already died at the scene, a tragic and violent end that shocked the quiet Riverstone neighborhood. Soon after the shooting, a nearby van caught fire and rolled into a lamppost, and the red Audi seen in the security camera was also found burning around the corner. Before the shooting, residents noticed the same Audi parked up the street, its engine running for about 10 minutes, as if waiting for someone. New South Wales police described the killing as a targeted attack by multiple offenders, launching a manhunt. 3 crime scenes were established, and investigators believe it ties back to the same criminal networks that had pursued him before. The incident shocked the MMA community in Sydney at large, with local media dubbing it a hail of bullets execution. Mokhtarian had already survived a previous attempt on his life. In February 2024, he narrowly survived a targeted shooting outside his Australian top team gym in Wentworthville. The attack was carried out by a gunman disguised as a food delivery driver, who arrived on a scooter and opened fire at close range. Witnesses reported hearing several gunshots just minutes after a children's class had finished, with one bullet piercing a punching bag inside the gym. Mokhtarian was unharmed, either because the firearm jammed or the shooter's aim failed. The attempt exposed the growing danger surrounding him and deepened speculation about his possible connections to Sydney's underworld, particularly the ongoing conflicts involving the Alameddine network. Following this shooting, 3 months later, in early May 2024, police arrested 21-year-old Noah Tuma in connection with the shooting. Investigators also recovered the burnt scooter used in the attack, which was registered to him. Police alleged that Tuma had purchased the scooter for $2,000 on Facebook Marketplace, just days before the incident, and used white spray paint to disguise it before setting it on fire to destroy evidence. He was accused of posing as the delivery driver to carry out the hit, and was charged with 10 serious offenses, including shooting with intent to murder and discharging a firearm with intent to cause grievous bodily harm. He was refused bail at Bankstown local court and remanded in custody as detectives continued building their case. However, after several months behind bars, Tuma was granted bail due to a lack of strong forensic or phone evidence directly linking him to the crime scene. The court also took into account his young age and the time he had already spent in custody. Following this, in April 2024, authorities abruptly cancelled the inaugural Dark Matter Fighting Championship event, which was linked to Mokhtarian and was scheduled to take place at Warwick Farm Racecourse. The decision came after police received a credible tip-off about a planned assassination attempt. The event's promoter confirmed that police had warned of a significant risk to public safety if the event went ahead. Police reportedly informed the promoter that they had concluded the threat was serious enough that the NSW Combat Sports Authority would not issue a permit for the venue. Although Mokhtarian offered to step away from the event to reduce the risk, authorities remained concerned that his association alone could attract violence or provoke an attempt on his life or the safety of others, even if he did not attend. The cancellation followed mounting pressure after Mokhtarian's previous assassination attempt, during which he publicly stated he would not attend any event if his presence might put others at risk. Reports indicate that Suman was somewhere connected to the Sydney's dark underworld, particularly to the Alameddines, and his deadly involvement with the Alameddine organized crime clan may have begun with an alleged drug rip. A drug rip is a slang term used in criminal circles to describe the theft or hijacking of a drug shipment or a stash of narcotics. Essentially, someone takes a large quantity of illegal drugs from another person or gang, often by force or trickery, without permission. In organized crime, committing a drug rip is extremely risky because it can provoke violent retaliation, including threats, beatings, or even murder, as gangs often see it as a direct attack on their operations and authority. In Suman's case, this shipment was in millions, and reportedly angered the Alameddine network so severely, that they placed a contract on his life more than 18 months before he was ultimately murdered. Police investigations into previous attempts on his life showed that the Alameddine gang considered Mokhtarian a serious threat because of this betrayal. However, reports suggest that Suman consistently denied stealing the shipment, insisting they had been stolen, which angered the Alameddines. This dispute reportedly sparked these assassination plots against him, tied to the network's ongoing conflicts over drug trafficking, extortion, and control of territory. It is also believed Mokhtarian's connections to the underworld were facilitated through his Australian top team gym in Wentworthville, which police described as a melting pot for organized crime figures, including members of the notorious Comanchero MC, blending his legitimate coaching role with illicit associations. This environment likely exposed him to dealings that escalated into the drug rip, though specific details on his direct involvement remain unconfirmed in public reports. Fearing for his life, he recently closed the gym entirely. Born on June 13, 1992, in Sydney, Suman's story is one of resilience in the cage and vulnerability outside it. His family fled Iran during the Iran-Iraq War in 1985, arriving in Australia as refugees. His parents divorced when Suman and his older brother Ashkan were young. The siblings grew up immersed in martial arts, forging a deep bond through combat sports. Suman trained in Brazilian jiu-jitsu and kickboxing from a young age, honing skills that propelled him into professional fighting. He was known for his brief but intense tenure in the UFC. He started his career strong, winning his first 8 fights as a featherweight before making it to the UFC. He made his debut in 2018, facing Nigerian Sadiq Yusuf, who defeated him in a controversial first-round TKO at UFC Fight Night 142. He returned in December 2019, at UFC Fight Night 165 in Busan in South Korea, against Sung Woo Choi. Weighing in sharp and focused, Suman fell short again, this time by split decision in a razor-close fight that highlighted his durability. With a professional record finishing at 8-2, his UFC run was brief but it cemented his reputation as a tough, entertaining competitor. Post-UFC, he transitioned seamlessly into coaching at ATT. By age 25, Suman was already a gym owner, head coach, and promoter for events like UFM, earning the nickname as the busiest man in Australian MMA. His brother Ashkan Mokhtarian, also an MMA fighter nicknamed the Assassin, built a 13-4 professional record, showing strong skills in both striking and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Before joining the UFC in 2017, Ashkan overcame homelessness and prison time for drug offenses, turning his life around with a 13-1 record. His UFC career included 1 win and 2 losses before he was released in 2018. He later too focused on coaching at ATT, helping train fighters and grow Sydney's MMA scene. Outside the cage, Ashkan faced further legal issues, including drug-related charges in 2020 and another arrest in 2023, which was tied to a police operation targeting a Sydney crime network. News of Mokhtarian's death sent shockwaves through social media and the global fight community. Tributes poured in from fans, fellow fighters, and coaches, many expressing frustration at the slow response from major MMA outlets and the UFC, which had yet to acknowledge his passing. Across online posts and threads, people reflected on his skill, dedication, and the impact he had on those around him. Mokhtarian's story highlights the thin line between the intensity of professional sport and the harsh realities of Sydney's criminal underworld. In the octagon, he fought with the mentality of kill or be killed, mastering the discipline and aggression required to compete at the highest level. Outside the ring, however, he faced dangers he could not control, becoming entangled in conflicts that ultimately cost him his life. Despite the tragedy, Mokhtarian's legacy endures through his work as a coach at Australian Top Team, where he mentored young fighters, shaping careers and inspiring others to pursue their dreams. His death is a stark reminder of the risks faced by those connected to the city's underworld, but it also underscores the positive impact he made in sport and community. While his life was cut tragically short, his contributions to MMA and the lives he touched ensure that his name will not be forgotten. If you're looking for more exciting and eye-catching regular bikie and organized crime updates, don't hesitate, smash that subscribe button, spread the word rapidly, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, stay curious, stay awesome and take care. Wu-Tang.